Yo guys, in this video I'm going to be going over why I enchant Abyssus and address some questions that I always get in my YouTube videos, and hopefully this will help clear up some of the questions and concerns that people have had. Without further ado, here we go. So the first thing I want to address is why I enchant Abyssus. I have a lot of people asking me, why do I do Abyssus and not this helmet or not this helmet, blah blah blah. For the first reason, there's a ton of enchants, and I'll put them up on the screen with the old-fashioned notepad, and I'll scroll down slowly so you guys can see them all if you're wondering, hey, what do I look for in an enchant? The second reason that I enchant Abyssus is it's very, very niche. It's a lot less competition that way because I don't have to constantly adjust prices and follow like the meta or anything. Problem with following the meta is there's a lot of other people doing those enchants as well, and they're always going to be undercutting you. Not by like a small margin, but like 30-40% I've seen sometimes. It's alright to get undercut a little bit because if you're AFK or whatever, you can be like the next one up, but if it's that much lower, then you're losing like a lot of money that way. I find with Abyssuses, you don't get undercut as much. They're still out there, but it's a lot more niche. And I think that's a good thing. There's so many helmets out there that you can enchant, but this was just the one that I picked for that reason. The next reason why I picked an Abyssus is for what the helmet fills. I think it's a fantastic helmet. It's obviously only for attack builds. It gives you huge flat fizz, all attributes, tons of crit multi, decent armor. The downside is you get increased physical damage taken by 40 to 50%. But that could be mitigated through armor, through endurance charges, through just defensive stuff. It also allows you to go a little more defensive because you don't need to get as much offensive stuff on the tree if that's the way you want to play Abyssus. One niche thing with Abyssus as well is Facebreaker builds love this helmet because it gives you the flat fizz, and then Facebreakers give you 800% more physical damage, or up to that anyway. So that's another reason as well that this helmet sells, because there's a lot of people that play with those gloves as well. For obvious reasons, you would not really want to enchant this one on hardcore, because hardcore is about staying alive, and people that use Abyssus, including myself if I make a build. I'm not a big fan of the helmet personally, but it's fun to play around with once in a while. You're fairly squishy with the helmet, I find, most of the time. Unless you go like Juggernaut or something, it will help mitigate a little bit. And lastly, another reason why I enchant Abyssus is I've been enchanting this helmet since Legacy League, and it's always been a solid money maker for me to fund all my characters. Last week I put like 150 exalts into a character. This week I've put in about 50. I might dump all the rest of them in them soon, just to see how much I can max him out, get him up over 100 probably as well, and it fills the void that I need. I don't need to make 300, 400, 500 exalts because I don't play enough to use all those exalts. So for this part of the video, I want to address some of the criticisms that I get for enchanting Abyssus. One of the big ones is that it's not meta. Like, everybody plays meta, nobody plays off meta. Like, we've all heard it before. In this league, I've read it in the comments before that everybody's playing Spellswinger. You have to do Crown of the Inward Eye and get a Spellswinger enchant on it. It's the only thing that will sell. It's the only way to make money. It's the big enchant to get. I disagree. I've sold 2 enchants, well over 20 exalts on Abyssus. Tons at like 1 to 3, and then a few up around 10. And as I showed earlier in the video with the list of enchants that I can put on an Abyssus, there's so many different enchants that I can get for it that will sell fairly often, not all the time. It obviously depends on the point in the league and if people are playing and whatnot. Harvest seems to be starting to peter off now, so we'll have to see how it goes, but that's one of the big criticisms that I wanted to address. There is a downside for Abyssuses though as well. I'm not going to say that it's like the best helmet to enchant or whatever, but any spell enchant is useless on the thing. No one's going to use an Abyssus with a spell enchant. It has no use for it at all. There's nothing to do with spells on it, and I will agree with people when it comes to that. When it comes to the meta argument where everyone's playing meta, I mentioned this in my Helm Enchant guide video, which I'll link down below, that every single league, if you follow the meta, you have to relearn a helmet. You have to relearn what enchants sell. You have to relearn, hey, this league people are playing Fireball. Next league it's Summoner builds. Next league it's bow builds. I don't know. I'm just kind of pulling them out of my ass. But with Abyssus, now that the fact I already know it, it's been pretty consistent throughout the whole time that I've been doing this in helmet for 2 years. I haven't had to relearn too much. Like, there's been a few enchants that have been removed or skills reworked. An example I can give is Earthquake, the reduced duration. That one was like a huge one. They removed that one, which kind of sucks because that was pretty much 5 to 7 exalt enchant. But I understand why they removed it too. They added a lot of stuff on the tree for that one. And lastly, I want to address people telling me that I'm not making much money in this league from Abyssus. If you guys have been watching my videos, you're going to notice that my RNG in lab this league has been awful. Like, I had like 2 weeks in a row where I didn't even get an attack enchant on the thing. It's just the nature of the beast. Then I was like, all right, I'll do Crown of the Inward Eye for a while. And then once I started enchanting Crown of the Inward Eye, I started getting attack enchants on it. Then I went back to Abyssus. Then I got spell enchants on it. It's just the way my luck's been this week. It's the nature of the beast when it comes to lab enchanting. You're going to go through those dry spells and it's just going to suck. Now, when it comes to the argument, I'm not going to just bash everybody that says blah, blah, blah sells better, because they're probably right. I'm not saying they're not. So I do agree with a lot of the stuff that you guys have been saying as well with the criticism. Like influence items, Elder Bone helmets, meta stuff sell faster. Maybe not as much, but sell faster. But you'll be fighting with 100 people enchanting those items instead of like 5. You can also find a unique item that's fairly popular as well, and you can get first dibs on it as well. And also I'm looking for a helmet that has big ticket enchants but also has a lot of little ones. It's a waste of time running lab if you're only having a helmet that only 2 enchants sell on it. You would be better off doing a helmet that's has a lot of enchants to sell on it, sell those enchants and use the money from that helmet that you've been selling to buy your enchant on your helmet that you want. Because chances are, if there's only 2 or 3 enchants that sell on a helmet, when those enchants are on that helmet, it's going to be really expensive. So you'd be quicker to farm the currency for it, in my opinion. You could get lucky and nail your enchant, but it's so rare because there's like 400 enchants to get for your helmet. So I find it more consistent that way. So that's another reason why I do Abyssus. In closing, there's a lot of helmets you can enchant. I have a helm enchant guide out there if you guys are interested in checking it out. I will put it in the description below. I made this video just to let you guys know why I enchant Abyssus. However, I do agree that it's probably not the best helmet to enchant during Harvest League with the whole crafting thing and everything, but I'm not into crafting, so I'm pretty ignorant, I guess, with that. Ignorance is bliss, I guess. But I've had people message me in game as well and on my videos saying that they've made over 100 exalts in 2 weeks. I've had people say that they're constantly making money just messaging me in game, and it's so awesome to see people's results. So it can't be that bad, right?